Apologies for the technical hitch there, and thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. We'll go straight to the headlines. The Daily Statement this morning says, Cabinet introduces timber utilization contracts. Let's end the acrimony. Majority Leader urges Parliament. And Yoko arrests 4 in 200,000 Ghana cedi SIM swap fraud. Finance Minister swoops on Tema Port. The Daily Graphic, seal revenue leakages at Tema Port. Oforiatta charges the GRA. Also, Kumasi International Airport ready in August. Open Galamsey pit swallow community members. Banner headline, Cement Turf War. The regulators distance themselves from Empire Cement. Firm says it's cooperating for the permit. The Ghanaian Times, let's loss-making entities go. Kwame Pieni, and he is a respected economist, a founder member of the NPP. ECG surcharges some North Industries for 115,603 for illegal power connection. Fire guards Tema Timber Market, property worth millions of cedis destroyed. Parliament adjourns sitting Senedai. And Attorney General adjudged Best Minister for 2021. The Daily Guide, NDC flag bearer race gets hotter. Blaise Compaoré is also there. It's a live jail for Blaise Compaoré, and AG adjudged Best Minister for 2021. Bawumia speaks on economy today. 4 grabbed in 200,000 SIM fraud. Kasua teen killers jurors undergo training. The Business Finder, government must conduct cost-benefit analysis on significant expenditures. PNM ADB Mofa presents 600,000 cash to price to 2021 National Best Farmer. Iyoko grabs 4 in 200,000 SIM swap fraud. And finally, the agric business insurance, agric insurance patronage still low as GAIP registers only 30,000 farmers in a decade. BNFT says, how will the Africa Continental Free Trade Area boost free zones exports? Michael Quick Jr. is the boss there. My passion for IT took me to the north to train young people. And the banner headline, hotels rates likely to go up. GHA president hints. That's head of the Hotel Association in Ghana. Well, before I introduce my guests, let me quickly say happy birthday to CEO of Wallen Company Limited, Mr. Walter Hope Ajamli, and also to Reverend Eric Kofi Dekaye, head pastor of the Refiners Fire Palace, Ablekuma. This from all your congregants. And also to Mavis Jabin Ness at Malam Demonstration Clinic. Your husband, William Bequin, and the entire family wish you a blessed birthday. You actually love, that's what they say. Elena Madeko is my guest. She is a national executive hopeful of the New Patriotic Party. Also, Gabriela Tete speaks for the NDC. Ladies, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Hi, good morning.
Yellow. How is it going on the grounds for you?
Oh, so far so good.
So far so good?
Yes. As I keep on saying and I'll continue saying it, it's a good thing when young people of the party, especially women, show up for positions. This year, it looks like a lot of young women are showing up for a lot of positions, not just the traditional roles. We have young ladies who are going for chairmanship roles at the constituency.
Okay.
Some are going for regional roles, secretaries. I mean, for me, it's an exciting thing, and I keep on saying it, and I'll say it. The fact that you showed up is a good thing. When you win, excellent. If you don't win, you gain experience for the next level.
Right.
So I would encourage every single young woman who has shown interest in any of the party positions to please go ahead.
What are you bringing to the table?
Just look at me.
I should look at you.
Yes.
Gabriela is looking at you too.
She's bringing beauty. That's the first one. And I'm bringing a lot to the table. One of the
Mind the microphone.
Yes, sorry. So one of the major things that I intend to bring up is to energize the party for 2024. We've been speaking about breaking the 8.
Bring your microphone closer to you.
I believe breaking the 8 also includes a total overhaul, getting a very, very strong party. Because when you have a strong party, it doesn't matter who the candidate is. It is very easy to win. So for me, one of the things I intend to bring on board is mobilization skills. for women and getting all the women ready for the NPP like we were ready in 2016. Getting that love and attention and everything back again into the party. And I intend to do it with the women's wing. That is the main thing that is coming on board. Of course, you can't also do this after being in power for 5-6 years without also getting your young ladies and your young women to also be economically stable. And that is also another agenda of mine, to get those who actually do the work for the party to also be economically stable. Those are the two major things I intend to look at. The specifics we'll discuss it later.
I wish you well. Gabi, I know you've been talking football and advocating for the maidens.
Yeah, she's done very well.
Are you happy?
You're on my Facebook.
Yes.
Are you happy with the kind of support they have received so far?
Not really. I think that we can do better because currently the football league compared to the male league is really lagging behind. A lot of it has to do with logistics and support. The exposure that the male football leagues engender, unfortunately, is not the same as is regarded to the female leagues. And I wish that the GFA can come up with more solid proposals on how to get the women's football leagues from the black queens downwards to the princesses and the maidens, and to also give them that kind of exposure. I'm very much interested in the football league because my mate is the chairperson of the women's league, Hillary, and she tries to drag me and get me interested in what she's doing. So I've kind of gravitated towards it. But I must commend the presidency. I posted last week asking when they are going to invite the black princesses also to Jubilee House.
That's right.
And I understand that they were there yesterday.
They were there yesterday.
Yes, they granted them audience yesterday. I think that whatever you do for the men, do the same for the women. They claim that the men appearing in the World Cup gave Ghana $12 million. But at least I'm sure that the young princesses also qualifying for the World Cup. The money may not be 12 million, but I'm sure we got something. And of course, when you play on a global platform, a global stage like that, the exposure to the country also helps with the branding of the nation. So I think we should give them all the support that they need.
Okay, I hear you. Ellen, Dr. Bawumia speaks today.
Yeah.
What are we to expect?
Well, I expect him to talk about the present state of the economy and what government and him as the leader of the economic team and the measures they've put in place for the alleviation of all the issues that we are going, all the numerous issues that we are going through as a country. I expect him to talk about that. I expect him to also assure all of us on the way forward, at least for the next year or two, considering the present circumstances of the whole world. So yes, I am good and ready to listen to what he has to say. But I expect him to address what we are going through as Ghanaians economically.
Some say he will be blaming Mahama Small, Ukraine,
but you
COVID-19.
As for Ukraine and COVID-19.
And then he will talk about the fact that the economy was robust before COVID.
But these are
Do you
all
expect
facts.
that too?
These are all facts, aren't they? So definitely you would have to talk about it. As for blaming Mr. Mahama, I don't expect him to talk about it. He has bigger issues to deal with, and I don't think Mr. Mahama is one of his issues to deal with. But definitely talking about COVID-19, it is an event that happened. So he will have to talk about it. The extent that he wants to talk about it, that's up to him. I don't know what he's going to say about it. But definitely it will appear. And the Ukraine and Russian crisis is taking a toll on all of us. It's taking a toll on our Greek. It's taking a toll because we import so much. Anything that happens anywhere affects that. So I expect him to talk about it, and not just talk about it, measures. How are we going to survive? Yeah, so tomorrow morning, if America and somebody also starts fighting, which would also affect us, how are we going to survive? He has to, measures that we are putting in place to, put us together so that the outside influences do not affect us too much. So yes, I expect him to talk about that because those are facts that have happened. But I do not expect him to talk about things that haven't happened. And these are all, the things you've mentioned are all facts. So
some say he talked his way into power and he should not be talking, he should be doing for people to see. What do you say?
What should he be doing that he's not doing?
Exchange rate, fuel prices.
That is why he's going to talk about and the reasons why we all know why they are at that level and the government's measures to help cushion all of that. So yes, politics is about saying what you would do when you come into power. And then when you also do come into power, you have to explain and communicate to the people who voted for you on what you are doing. When you do meet challenges, which we all do meet along the line, you have to explain to the people why these challenges are here and what you're also doing about it. And that's exactly what I expect him to put out.
Is he coming
today.
to give us excuses?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No.
You don't know so?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Yeah.
I hear you. Gabi, Dr. Bawumia speaks today. You should be excited after calling on him to speak. Finally, it is here.
Yeah, but he's late.
How?
He's late to the party. We've heard the finance minister speak. We've heard the president give the State of the Nation address. What exactly is he coming to tell us?
The true state of the nation.
So the president and the finance minister do not know the true state of the nation.
On the economy.
As the
head of the economic
president that
team.
we voted into power does not have a true assessment of the economy of this country, then he should equally resign. And they should follow, Bawumia should follow him in tow. Vice President Bawumia's address. I've been hearing their social media robots busily trending that the NDC is trembling and shaking in their boots because finally Vice President Bawumia is coming to speak. Nobody's trembling, nobody's shaking because we know that this is just going to be another litany of jokes and exaggerations. Last time I was on this platform the day after his presentation in Ashesi,
right.
And he told the whole country that anybody holding a Ghana card can enter another country as a passport, and people can enter other countries with their Ghana card. I said that is not true. Because until Ghana ratifies bilateral arrangements with each country that she's engaged in, nobody can enter any country with a valid, with a Ghana card. You people did not take me seriously. ICAO president tweeted congratulating you for your Ghana card, but said the same thing, that until you go and ratify bilateral arrangements, you cannot enter any country with your Ghana card. That I was lying. That's exactly what happened. So for me, Vice President Bawumia, he's late to the party. We've already heard the state of the economy from the finance minister. We've heard the state of the economy from the president, even though his address was also full of inconsistencies. I wish you'll find whoever writes his speech for him. Anyway, the value is the same. He's going to come and joke about the economy. He's coming to exaggerate, turn economic theories up on their heads, come and spew all kinds of content. As for us, we are here waiting. Whatever he comes and says, we'll analyze it.
I'm told there will be diagrams and graphs.
Put a crayon in a class 1 child's hand. Tell them to draw. You still see diagrams. Diagrams and graphs won't show much. Let me show you something about diagrams and graphs. I did a quick search on the budget they presented last year. If you buy diagrams and graphs, let them project the state of the economy 2017 that they inherited and the state of the economy today. In 2017, industry was growing at 15.6%. As at the data in their 2022 budget, industry is growing at 6.3%. It declined. And in fact, in 2021, industry grew at minus 0.5%. In agric, in 2017, agric was growing at 6.2%. In 2021, it dipped 5.3%. In 2022, same 5.3%. And this is despite all the noise they make about planting for food and jobs and their afforestation program. Services, we left them at, whatever, let me come back. We left them with 3 oil fields. Today, they've boosted oil production. They'll come and tell us that the problems we're encountering is as a result of a war in Russia and Ukraine. Ghana is the #1 producer of gold on this continent. Ghana is benefiting from the increase in gold prices on the international market. Ghana is number 2 cocoa producer in the world, next to Cote d'Ivoire. Ghana is benefiting from the increase in cocoa prices. We are benefiting from the increase in the price of oil. The challenge is because of the mismanagement led by his Vice President Baumia.
You are not seeing the windfall, that's what you're saying.
If there was a windfall, did you hear the finance minister when he gave his speech in his office last 2 weeks on the state of the economy? He said the so-called windfall that we are all projecting is a mirage. There is no such thing as a windfall, because they are not seeing their windfall. Even though the documents that they have shared with the rest of the world and all of us projects that they budgeted for oil at $60 and today it's over $100, and they made over $40 on it. They said it is a mirage.
But then they explained that, for example, even though we export, we are net exporter, we also import a lot of finished products. So you get a windfall and use it to buy.
And that, unfortunately, is another tragedy of the Akufo-Addo administration. 6 years into office, here you are as an oil-producing country, and yet look at the state of your oil refinery. It's going to cost us roughly $200 million to retrofit Tema Oil Refinery to process Ghana crude and to make the crude available to Ghanaians. They'll tell you that, but you're still going to pay world prices. Yes, but you cut out the freight, because the cost of transportation will reduce. Bringing fuel from the Middle East, bringing fuel from America, bringing fuel from even Nigeria. Once you are refining local production here, you cut down on the cost of freight, and there's still some benefit to the people of this country. The same thing for fertilizer. Last 2 weeks, I think I heard the president of the Peasant Farmers Association warning all of us to start stocking up on cereals. In fact, I listened to him, I heard him, I did not heed to what he said. Until yesterday or 2 days ago, I was watching another news brief, and the price of corn has escalated again. You remember after the elections, we were all doing analysis on corn because the price of corn had shot up to 300 cedis. Kinkonomics. Today, the price of corn, a sack of corn, is now selling between 600 and 700 Ghana cedis. And corn is a staple for us. We produce corn. We can't store corn. We can't release corn on the market. What's happening to our Ghana Buffer Stock Company? So for him to come and, your diagrams mean nothing to me until I can find deep content in your diagram that spells out some positivity to this country. But so far, everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm seeing, is negative news to me.
But the fundamentals are still good, according to the economic management team. They're good. And so you cannot say the things you're saying. The figures look good.
Since you mentioned the fundamentals, let me put him into context. In 2015, and then we'll project this same content to present day 2022, and let's analyze it. He says, the question we should all ask ourselves is, how can any country expect its currency to be stable after this economic outcome? The depreciation of the cedi that we are observing is a result of the weakening fundamentals of the economy. There is no mystery here. At the heart of the problem is the lack of fiscal and monetary discipline. Underline those two words. I will say something about it. In fact, virtually all the episodes of cedi depreciation since independence can be traced to this issue of fiscal and monetary indiscipline. Do you know that today, if you look at our debt profile, close to 67 billion is external debt. We are paying this year interest rates, interest payment alone, and amortization is coming to 37.5 billion. This is money that government of Ghana, this is dollars, that government of Ghana, like the private sector, is going to demand out of this economy to pay her debt. So don't blame the poor business people and the speculators for the depreciation of this currency. The chief culprit is government itself because of their unquenchable appetite to borrow, especially in foreign-denominated bonds. Since Finance Minister, Mr. Ken Oforiatta became our Finance Minister, everything about him is bonds, bonds, bonds. To be very honest, if I was President Akufo-Addo, I'll really think about reshuffling Mr. Ken Oforiatta and put in somebody who has more economic developmental mindset and who can help us, because see, the finance minister is very critical in the economy of the country. And if his whole head is about bond market, at the end of the day, the real development that we are looking for in this country, we will not find it. And I don't care whether you went to Yale or Cambridge. At the end of the day, I'm looking for a development economist, not a financial economist.
I hear you. I hear you. Ama, so Gabriela is painting a gloomy picture. Everything is going south, from the currency to food availability, affordability, to everything is upside down for her.
But Johnny, are you expecting anything good?
Is that the reality?
To come from Gabriela in relation to...
Is that the reality?
No, it's not. In relation
what is the reality?
In relation to Dr. Baumia and what he's going to say, I don't expect anything good to come from there. But then what I do expect is at least the truth. You might not agree with Dr. Baumia or the NPP on a lot of things, but truth is truth. Figures are figures. If I got you right, and I hope you correct me if I'm wrong, Gabriela, you were saying that the agri sector actually declined in growth in 2022. In 2022.
It was 2021, 2022.
Yes.
The same 5.3%.
Yes, in 2022 it was, and that is to be expected. I mean, when you have the sort of problems that you had in 2020, you do not expect the agri sector or any other sector with COVID and everything to be growing high. But
the Greek minister kept assuring us that we'll have a bumper harvest in September, October, and November, December.
But definitely in 2016, the figures that you 2017, that you gave what 3 point something, that's not the truth. In 2016, the agri sector grew by 6.1. That is in 2017. 2022, you do not, or 2021, as I said, with COVID and everything, you do not expect to have the same figures as it was before COVID.
But I'm suggesting to you, Amma, that the Greek minister, Dr.
And when he said we're going to have a bumper
harvest, later then there was a ban on the exportation of cereals.
A bumper harvest. In 2021, we did have a bumper harvest.
No, that was in 20.
Or it wasn't
before,
in 2020.
Right. Rice
so one of the issues that I have noticed between the COVID issue, I remember when we went into lockdown, there were issues of food supplies, or even from the hinterlands to the cities. I was involved in supplying food. I mean, that's my business. So I understood what it was and how damaging this whole COVID issue was to us. But I don't think that the issue was that there was no food. There was. But how to get it to the people who need it was a problem. And with COVID, everything has changed. This year, I expect that we are going to have a few issues with our food supply because our rains are not even coming in. We are having these late rains, and the rains that are coming that are practically taking off our farmlands. There are 1,001 issues.
The fertilizers are also not in.
Of course, the fertilizers, and according to the Ministry of Agri, we shouldn't expect fertilizers this year. Yesterday, I was listening to the Deputy Minister, and he was saying that we practically import all our fertilizers. If it's not from Ukraine, it's from Russia. And so definitely the fertilizers, we shouldn't be looking at it. And they were actually advocating that their farmers should now start looking at the organic fertilizers that we have been giving to the Ivorians practically free all these years. And he also stated, and it is true, you know, the Ivorians send in trucks, huge trucks, to my area in the Bono Ahafu region, Doma area, to come for the chicken droplets. Good organic manure, and we sell it to them at practically nothing. And our Ghanaian farmers are not prepared to use it, but they use it for their farming. Do I blame our farmers? No. I blame all of us and the system that has consistently given them the imported and the artificial fertilizers. So now that we are in a crisis, our farmers do not even know how to even use these ones. So it is a process. And as I said, the New World Order is such that we have to start learning how to use a lot of things from us. And those are one of the things that I'm expecting the Vice President to tell us, one of the measures. What are we doing to use made in Ghana products, made in Ghana things to replace the things that we were actually importing in? And these are things that all of us have to look at.
There's a question on my mind that back to 3 weeks lockdown, which you had to supply food and all of that.
And the challenges I went through.
I get the impression every time from their Greek ministry and people within the sector that the problem is how to cut the food from the farms to the markets.
It's always been
because of the roads. But if we have constructed 10,000,
it's not just because of the roads.
Kilometers of roads.
It's because
this should be easy.
It's not just because of the roads. It's because of even the means of transport. Let me use a typical example. When you are bringing in tomatoes from somewhere like Akomadan, and you should look at the trucks that bring in these tomatoes, and they spend how many days on the road. By the time it gets to the final consumers, half of the products have gone bad. So it's not just the roads, it's the trucks that are carrying them. It is the way we carry them and how we even treat our food. Those are all parts of the what we call the whole food processes that we bring in. But if you are relating that to the road between Akomadan and Accra, the last time I checked was a good road. So it's not a matter of the roads. Yes, in some areas the roads are the matters because they cannot even get it from the farm to the markets. And those have been with us for years. Some of these roads that have been constructed have given way for those things to be done. Typical example, and I like giving those examples. When you go to the Wenchi constituency, there's a place where they bring in, it's called, let me remember, Nwase. And that is where they do a lot of the garden eggs. Right. They practically plant it. And it's been there for generations. Garden eggs, okra, pepper. Years ago, 5 years ago, it was hell. Cutting garden eggs from Nwase and its environs to even the main Wenchiwa road for it to be taken to Techiman and then further on. In the past 4 or 5 years, with the construction of the Wenchi town roads and other roads around, these women are able to bring their things to town. It is a gradual process. And I keep on telling people, when you see it, you bring, this is my constituency, and I have seen it. It is not very easy for me to get the garden eggs down to Accra if I so want to do it. So as for the roads matter, the 10,000 roads, you do not expect the 10,000 roads to be in Accra only. Neither do you expect them to be in Kumasi only. But those figures
are being fact-checked. The ministry says they are going to verify their own figures.
Let them finish fact-checking it, and
they
then we can all take it. Between now
and they give it to the president to read.
Well, I believe that it is the correct figures that they give. And the rest of us,
going to fact check
it is our duty to fact check it. And that's what you've been doing.
No, so do it and let's see. They say they are going to verify their own records that they give to the president to read to us.
Is that what the Ministry of Rules told you?
You didn't hear that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
It is your duty to do the fact checking.
Anyway,
and let us know.
I hear you. So on record, you have 10,885 kilometers of roads. Is that what you're saying?
That is what the Ministry of Roads.
I hear you. Anyway, well, let's move away from this subject matter and talk about something that.
No, Johnny, we have to go back to the subject matter.
Why do you want? If you go back, then
she wants to discredit me.
I haven't discredited you. I just say give me the proper records. That's all.
The data. I don't know where she picked her data from.
Ghana Statistical Service.
Good. I picked my data from PricewaterhouseCoopers infograph analysis because this summarizes the entire budget for me and it's on my phone to make reference to. Agric is 5.3 2021. Agric is 5.3 2022. And this is data from your budget, not Statistical Service. So if you are telling me that the data I'm given from the budget is wrong and you are quoting Statistical Service, then it's either your finance ministry is lying to us or it is you.
So where does the problem lie? Is it post-harvest, processes?
It is a failure. It's a failure of government to think.
Agric extension.
No, it is a failure of government to think comprehensively within an ecosystem and a value chain. If you have planting for food and jobs, and you have earmarked which cereals are in the planting for food and jobs basket, you need to project how do we transport these products? Okay. How do we store these products? How do we market these products? How do we build the distribution of these products? How does the final consumer get it? Right. That is how Kwame Nkrumah was thinking for this nation. Unfortunately, President Akufo-Addo, even at his age, with Vice President Bawumia in tow, are unable to fathom that kind of basic analysis and vision for this country. So you have a planting for food program, a key government intervention to produce cereals. Price of rice, which was 120 Ghana cedis in 2016, today is 200, 300 Ghana cedis.
Do we have a local taste for our local rice?
Because that kind of taste, it is developed into the rice. You want jasmine rice, you grow rice that can create jasmine rice. Whatever variety of rice, it exists. You have a whole CSIR to support you with the research. Do you give any CSIR any subvention to be able to do proper go into proper research and development to support agriculture? No. So we keep throwing money at things without thinking comprehensively how to build that, and that is not nation building.
I hear you.
I find it funny that it's only in President Akufo-Addo's time and Vice President Bawumia's time that all of a sudden, Gabriela and her people have realized that it is a whole ecosystem problem. It has been a whole ecosystem problem since Nkrumah.
But you promised change.
Since Nkrumah. And the change that we promised.
No, not since Nkrumah.
It's a process.
After Nkrumah was overthrown, then it became a problem.
It's a process. One of the facts leading to the process is that you even introduce the planting for food and jobs program even in the first place. And then in implementation and in its whole thing, we notice we see the issues with it, and then we tweak it to suit our purposes. So it is a process. It is not instantaneous. But then you didn't even do anything. You didn't introduce anything. We are living with this for years on end. Somebody comes in, introduces something that is going on. Yes, we are all Ghanaians. It is our money. It is our taxpayers' money. So you have every right to talk about it. But you do not talk about it as if all the problems started when Mr. Akufo-Addo came into office.
Leadership.
Mr. Akufo-Addo came into
and
office promising to do to start solving these problems. And of course, he has started. You have every right to talk about the implementation and all the issues that goes about it. We are all not too happy with how a lot of the flagship programs have been implemented, or some of them, the way that people are even dealing with it.
So
and that's why we talk about it. What I'm saying is that you didn't even start it. You didn't even start it. We have started it. Implementation would have issues, and we have to discuss it. But you do not talk as
we don't have to discuss it. We have to do it.
You were in power for 8 solid years. You didn't do anything.
Okay, your thoughts and comments as always welcome on the show. But there's been a recent
yes. In Agric, we were the ones who pumped in 10 million into cocoa roads to help cocoa production and bring us to number 2. Our aim was to go back to being number 1. Under the administration, they came throughout that program, claimed an audit which we never heard anything about. If anybody,
Fifi Boafo says the report is ready.
If anybody, so 6 years in administration, you are still there doing what about it? If anybody has shown more interest in agriculture development in this country, it is the NDC administration.
I hear you. Thank you. Well,
is that so?
Well, that's what they say.
Well.
Unless we want to just discuss Agric, there are many nuances we can look at.
You have free fertilizer.
The facts
today,
are
if I tell you the price of weedicide,
let's move on.
And fertilizer,
the facts
we were subsidizing fertilizer for Ghanaian farmers. In 2016, fertilizer was 75 Ghana cedis within the reach of the Ghanaian farmer. Today, fertilizer is 420 Ghana cedis. They can't even afford to apply fertilizer.
I hear you. Well, there's been a recent concern about people brandishing guns and the proliferation of small arms in the wrong hands. And somebody sent us a disturbing video beyond what we had seen, the policeman who was now being interdicted, the military man, the flight sergeant at the ANC mall, many others. Some 436 guns that were seized at the Tamaport. We don't know where it's gone now. Nobody has said nothing about it, and many others. These days you go around town and you see an entourage of a chief or a traditional leader, and you see people following them with pump action guns. When I was growing up, it was what do you call it, musketry.
Yeah.
But now it's pump action guns, and they're shooting with careless abandon. And I received the video from someplace in the Western region, and I got scared. I hear somebody or two people have lost their lives and all of that. I don't know what's on your mind, Amma, but then you may play the videos as we travel along, and let's get to appreciate the issues as we go along here.
You know, we've been having issues with small...
Ciao!
Saturday.
Ciao!
Saturday.
Come on, what? Ciao!
Saturday.
Ciao!
Saturday.
Well, so we'll take a break. When we return, we'll talk about it because there are too many guns flowing around, and it's all good. Good morning to you, IGP Dampari. We'll see you after the break.
Two 351 251.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Thank you for the rejections that taught me to keep striving. Thank you for the long hours that taught me discipline. Thank you for the knockdowns that taught me to bounce back, and for the unexpected victories that taught me to never give up. Thank you for making me who I am.
This advert is FDA.
Magic pepper and onion, a delicious tomato mix with tomato, pepper and onion. No grinding, no blending. Ya yin da da da. So pa ready no abin.
Come on, Gino, do your magic.
And papa no kunu abefi.
Tasty magic.
Gino Magic Pepper and Onion. The magic that brings them home.
This advert is FDA approved.
Charlie, right now, dear, we come top 1 year for your homes.
You have to stop your sister Tamara from traveling.
What? Time is against us. Today is supposed to be the day of the coronation.
As we come, we dey give you plenty shades of drama. We take the doctor come.
Where's Dr. Bafo?
What have we got?
Where we sound to give you correct laughter and kasa.
1,500
Rose. What for?
I respect where you're doing.
The trend idea we set time. Where the conversation to they go on. While people they set for them a love. That be why for our first birthday, we they tell you thank you as our birthday gift. We cut down the price of the DSTV decoder from 169 Ghana cedis to 129 Ghana cedis, and the GoTV decoder price from 89 Ghana cedis to 69 Ghana cedis. So you too go fit to enjoy the best in local storytelling. Aquaba Magic. Efie.
Hello, Mommy. We miss our kids and can't wait to see them. This season, you can win exciting prizes when you buy Nido. Buy your favorite Nido 365 grams and get more milk free. Nido, your love, their future. This advert is FDA approved.
It's not a common thing for a very popular northern artist to break into the southern sector, woo fans, and remain relevant over the years. One of such people who's been able to break this jinx is, of course, Fancy Gadam.
Physically, tactically,
What are your fondest memories here in this school? Did you like going to school?
I didn't.
The horse is not in the mood. Okay, please stop.
It's okay.
It's okay. Is this a male horse? Is it male?
The Day Show with Brella Mundi shows on Thursdays at 9 p.m. and repeats on Saturdays at 3 p.m. on TV3.
Brought to you by Mixi Choco Chane Hot.
Who makes the top 6 to compete in the finals for the grand prize? Is it Clavesta the Poet?
Babe, you're medallion, compassion, and sincerity.
APK.
It's the little things that you do makes me love you more.
Is Shira?
Too coffee.
Yamadon.
Never fear, no, never stop. I ain't thinking to sober.
Tadia Ketesia. DJ Planet.
That's right. I feel it.
Alice Jemfi. Or Ex-Burn Burner.
You know for best rapper, me put your head cracker. You think you best rapper, but me feel your worst rapper. Forget it, strapper, you're rich strapper.
This week, your favorite contestants take their final shot to give them the top 6 spot. Remember to keep voting for your favorite contestant by dialing *713 *13# or download the TV3 Reality app on the Google Play Store or Apple App Store to keep your favorite on the show. Talented Kids, free to play.
Talented Kids.
Listen every Sunday at 3:30 p.m.
Don't miss it. Talented Kids is powered by Indomie and brought to you by Deluxe Acrylic Paint, Vitamilk, Fanchoku, and Apamakrel, Heaven Black Insecticide Spray and Coil, Puma Drinks, Flora Tissues, E-Panel Paracetamol Syrup,
Asida Fabrics,
Tasty Treat Biscuit, and Milk Snow Cake.
Well, welcome back and thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Danny, play the video one more time and let's get into the conversation with the ladies. Gabriela Tete is still here.
Ciao.
Sorry.
Ciao.
Sorry.
And our information is that one of the gentlemen in the video you just saw with the black SUV is dead as a result of some bloody clash that happened. There are guns flowing around. People are shooting with careless abandon. People are displaying firearms, and I don't know how you take it, but I am not happy about it. I don't know how you feel about it.
Alone should tell you how she feels about it.
I don't even know where to start. It's a matter of bugayambre. It's a matter of it's scary. You know, different sections of our society over generations have used guns for different things. Of course, guns are also used for war. Guns are used for, but we have a system that is supposed to regulate who gets guns at any particular time.
Right.
If you remember, there was a whole, I think it's at the Kofi Annan Center for Peacekeeping. Yeah. They have a whole course on proliferation of of small guns,
small arms,
and light weapons. And if I remember, there were times where they were doing a lot of education on who should have it. There was some time I thought I saw them going to areas where these were produced, made in Ghana, somewhere in the Oti region. I think it should be in Konya. You know, we've had all these things over years. But in the past few years, it looks like people just have guns. And before we came, I was asking you a few questions. One, are they licensed?
Well,
these are pop action guns. These are not small, light weapons.
Yeah.
Are they licensed? What is the licensing regime? Who checks this? And before we went to the break, we were calling on the IGP. I think these are one of the things that he should also get his people on, because some of these things are actually seized and they get back into the system.
Yeah.
How do they get into the system? How do even the police, who are supposed to even be holding guns, we've had situations where the guns of policemen have been stolen, doing armed robberies. Some of them have been killed by their own guns. It's a whole messed up situation. And then we add the social aspect to it, where now prominent people, chiefs, politicians are going for programs, and you see these young men carrying these guns around.
I understand this vehicle belongs to the MP for, I think, the Takwa area. So
please cross-check and let's be sure.
Yeah, that's what.
But I mean, he's not the only person. You see chiefs going. It's not even paramount chiefs.
Yeah.
Little chiefs, in quotes. I don't mean any disrespect, but you know we have.
There's a hierarchy.
There's a hierarchy. So if it is with the paramounts, I understand. But you see some Odikro from some town also going around, and somebody is holding a gun after following him, and then they'll be shooting into the air. That's my problem. If by some unfortunate circumstance your gun tanks or you couldn't cock it well or whatever happens and it goes into the crowd, you just kill people like that. Remember there was a wedding in Nima somewhere, where somebody was passing,
a fuel attendant,
and
she
the
was
person
killed.
was just killed just like that. She had no idea what was going on. She was just passing. So these are things I think we should look at. It's like we are sweeping it under the carpet. But now you even go for a funeral and the chief is coming, and most of us we start picking our handbags and start heading somewhere because these people will be firing, and you don't know where it might land. I think that security services, the IGP, should take a very personal look at these things. Wow. It's not funny. That gentleman in the video, he was shooting for what purpose?
And Gabriela, this has become more like a status symbol now for many people these days, to have a gun. And these are not locally manufactured guns. These are imported guns. So Amma is asking, licensing regime, how do they renew? Who is responsible? Yes, we know the Interior Ministry, but who keeps an eye on these things? How many guns come in? How many people own them? Who checks their state of mind?
It's a very worrying situation and a phenomenon. And I think that the earliest that the security agencies, the Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons and the National Security address this issue head on, the better it will be for this country. Because issues of security actually borders on Ghana attaining SDG 16.
That's right.
And currently we're in a very fragile sub-region with all the threats of terrorists, gangs, gang robberies. In Nigeria, there was a whole train robbery that attacked 600 people. In Burkina, there's unrest. I mean, Mali, Niger, there are all kinds of issues within the sub-region. And the need to limit the use of ammunitions within the country will help this nation better. I expect that the Commission on what's it called? Small arms.
But their role is just advisory. That's where the problem is. So they advise the ministry. The ministry can or can decide not to take it, Interior Ministry, because it's the Interior Ministry's job to authorize anybody in holding a gun.
And I was doing a quick research on this thing, and in actual fact, it says that in 2019, over 1.2 million arms were registered. Only 40,000.
In fact, that's a
are renewed annually.
That's a 2014 baseline service captured in the National Security Document recently launched by the President. So 1.2 million, only about 300,000 or so come back to re-register. The rest are out there.
This data says 40,000.
Well.
And this data picked it from the UNDP because they did some training program together with the German government to support this commission and 21 CSOs operating in this area for them to improve on the advocacy. Advocacy is good, but at the end of the day, we need to have a program that really goes out and pulls out those guns. Look at the situation in Boko. I was frightened when I heard the MP, Honorable Ayariga, say that the kind of ammunitions that both sides have is even more sophisticated than what the Ghanaian security services had. So you ask the question, how did they come by these weapons? Who is financing this thing? How are they getting access to it? So national security really ought to set up in the interest of all of us. Armed robbery is on the increase. I want to commend the Ghana Police Service for positioning themselves. We appreciate what they are doing, but we still think that more should be done. And especially considering the fact that the people who we find in these videos trending on social media, many of them happen to be security men. If it's not from the armed forces, it is from the Ghana Police Service. And they need to caution their men about exposing weapons in public.
But these ones are not security people. I understand these people are with George Merikuduka. He's from Dompem Pepias Takwa in Siam constituency, the MP. He's also deputy minister. And our checks show that these guns and the clashes are even more rife in the mining areas.
Yes, because they are fighting over lands for allocations, illegal allocations. The Chinese, who invaded our mining communities, are equally armed to protect their mines. The big mining companies, well, they prefer to go with the security companies to provide them security. But the small mining companies have had to resort to self-defense to protect their mines. So there's a whole big issue around the security of gun ownership and gun controls in this country that the security services really ought to look at, especially national security, because if this thing gets out of hand, it is a blot not just on the peace and the stability of this nation, but a bigger threat because of where we find ourselves. It is one thing for us to prepare against external aggression. And then we also have to come and be dealing with internal security issues because we've allowed arms into the hands of people who should not have access to it. If you show your face on social media, shooting, even if you are shooting in the skies, national security and the police should be interested in finding out how you got your gun, if it's licensed, and if it is not, you go to due process so that somebody else will learn the lessons of gun ownership.
But the problem I even foresee with these dancers, when they register it, does it even stay with the initial owners?
They don't. Some don't even go back to
so
register. That's what Gabby was saying.
So how do we trace where they are?
They will figure it out.
And they are the ones that are getting into the wrong hands and are being used for the Boki incident, as you mentioned, and I heard the MP also talk about it. As for me, I am praying very hard that they solve their matters amicably. Otherwise, we are going to have a huge issue there. It's not just them. All the places where we are having chieftaincy issues, you'll be surprised at the guns that people have under their beds. And so if you realize there are some areas, the security says, you can't even wear batakari or big clothing because it's a whole ball. I don't. It's a whole big pot of different issues,
so
and it's not just in the north. It's in all over areas of Ghana where there are issues, either with land, with chieftaincy, with whatever. We should look at it, and as she said, the security should, up their game, whichever.
Okay. And want their men.
As for their men, I don't want to talk about them because
guns. That thing that the guy did at Gomoa Udubram area was totally irresponsible and needless. To hit somebody is one thing. To threaten and to cock a gun in broad daylight with people standing by.
To talk about
that is a
you
very,
want us to talk about
the
police and their issues in that Kasua Gomoa area. You know me and my issues with them. They are the ones who are okay.
They're the aiders, you say.
Let's leave it.
Anyway, we have to go, Gabi. But majority leader is not happy with ex-President John Mahama. He says the way he has been avoiding President Akufo-Addo's State of the Nation address and state functions is not nice.
It's called Ahoya.
It's not nice.
It is called Ahoya.
Did they extend an invitation to him?
I'm sure they did.
I don't want to hear. I'm sure they did. I want to know whether it's definite.
Oh yes, I mean they called all former presidents. They will call him too. So it is pure Ahoya.
Ahoya for what? The man has been vice president and president 8 years running. If anybody, because of the abysmal performance of your administration, President Mahama and the NDC are now glorified gods in development in the post-independence era.
Showing signs.
1992 constitution era. Your government has been so disappointing.
We have to go. Neilante Van der Poel is the MP for the Odododo area. He says, please, the issue is, were these things happening under the NDC? The proliferation of weapons is pronounced today more than any time in our history, not even under the military regimes. When you throw arms into the hands of Delta, Invisible Crocodile, and other forces, what do you expect? That's what Neilante Van der Poel is saying. And a few happy birthdays. Well, John says first it was Mahama, then it moved to COVID. Now it's Russia-Ukraine war. Shaking my head. His Excellency Akufo-Addo and the MPP can never be blamed for anything, I guess. It's a bad situation. Quite sad. Good morning, my brother. That's what John says. And a few happy birthdays before we go. Quickly, let's say a happy birthday to CEO of Walin Company Limited, Mr. Walter Hope Ajamli. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Said this from Mr. Claudio Safutukote. And also to you, Reverend Eric Kofi Dekaye, head pastor of the Refiners Fire Palace in Ablekuma. This from all your congregants. Also to Mavis Jabin, nurse at Malam Demonstration Clinic. Happy birthday to you from your husband, William Bequin, and your children. Also to Mabel Addison Campbell. We wish you long life and prosperity from your husband. Caroline, good morning to you. And thank you to Grant Park Clothing for my outfit. 020-985-5696. Thanks, Gabi. Thanks, Helen. I wish you all the best. We'll see you next week.